Hey everyone, and welcome. Today we're going to pull back the curtain on a world that a lot of us hear about, but maybe don't totally get: wealth management. We are going to break down exactly what it is, who it's really for, and, maybe most importantly, how technology is completely shaking up the entire industry. But let's start with a question for you. Imagine, right now, $1 million lands in your bank account. What's the first thing you do? Buy that dream house? Travel the world? Maybe you try to invest it. It's a fun daydream for sure, but it actually gets at a really tough real-world problem. Once you have a lot of assets, managing them gets, well, complicated. And that is precisely where wealth management comes into play. So let's dive right in with the most basic question: what is wealth management anyway? A lot of people think it's just about picking stocks and bonds, but it's so much bigger than that. It's really a whole picture approach to your financial life. Okay, so here's the textbook definition. At its heart, wealth management is all about combining financial planning with investment management. And that word integrates is the key. A wealth manager doesn't just look at your stocks. They look at your life goals, your retirement plans, how much risk you're okay with, and then they build one single cohesive strategy. It's about seeing the entire forest, not just a handful of trees. And because it's such a holistic approach, the services they offer are incredibly broad. You can almost think of it like a menu at a really fancy restaurant. Of course, you've got investment management, that's a given, but you also get specialized banking, help with tax planning, making sure your estate is set up for the next generation, even things like secured lending and managing trusts. The whole idea is to have one person or one team handling all these moving parts for you. So who actually uses these services? Is this something reserved only for billionaires living in penthouses? Well, not quite. The industry actually has some really specific labels for categorizing clients based on just how much wealth we're talking about. And here it is, the wealth pyramid. It all starts at the bottom with a group they call the mass affluent. That's anyone with over $100,000 in assets they can invest. Then you climb up to high net worth individuals, or HNWIs, which is the $1 million plus club. From there, you get into the really serious money. Very high net worth at over $5 million, and then the top of the pyramid, the ultra high net worth with over $30 million. And you better believe, each level you go up, the service gets way more personal and customized. And just to give you a sense of the mind-boggling scale of this industry, look at this number: $86.8 trillion. That's how much money is being managed for just that one category, the high net worth individuals, the millionaires around the world. It is a truly staggering amount of capital. So who are the people and the companies that are actually managing all of this cash? Let's meet the key players you'll find on the wealth management field. You got a whole spectrum of providers out there. It can be a special division inside a huge commercial bank, or it could be a specialized wealth manager, like a stockbroker or a fund manager. And then you get to the more exclusive end with private banks, and at the very top, these things called family offices. Each one is designed to serve a different slice of that wealth pyramid we just looked at. Now, private banks. This is probably the classic image that pops into your head, right? These institutions focus on that high net worth crowd and up. Their whole game is offering a deeply personal, one-on-one, bespoke service. It's all about high-touch relationships and custom-built solutions. And then you have the family office. This is for the absolute top of the pyramid, the ultra-high net worth. A family office is basically like having your own private financial headquarters. They manage literally everything for just one super rich family, or maybe a few. We're talking investments, tax strategies, setting up charities, even managing their properties or household staff. It is the absolute ultimate in personalized wealth management. Okay, so we know who's who and who the clients are, but how is the money actually handled? Like, when you give a portfolio to a manager, what happens next? Well, it pretty much boils down to two main styles. On one side, you have what's called discretionary management, and I absolutely love this analogy. It's like having a chauffeur. You tell them your destination, your financial goals, and the rules of the road, but they do all the driving. They make all the day-to-day investment decisions for you. Then, on the other side, you have advisory. This is more like using a GPS. Your manager gives you the best routes, the recommendations, the traffic warnings, but you are still in the driver's seat. You make the final call on every single turn. So it all boils down to one simple question: how much control do you want to keep? All right, let's get to our final section because just like, well, pretty much every industry on the planet, wealth management is being turned on its head by technology. The rise of fintech, or financial technology, is changing everything.
And the single biggest game changer here is something called robo-advice. So what is it? Put simply, it's using really smart computer programs, algorithms, to do the job that a human financial advisor used to do. It's tech that can build you a pretty sophisticated investment plan, all based on the data you provide.
So how does it actually work? Well, it's a surprisingly straightforward process. You start by going online and plugging in your financial info, your income, your savings, what your goals are. Then the algorithm gets to work. It crunches all those numbers, figures out your risk profile, and spits out a personalized investment strategy, usually built with low-cost funds. And the best part, you can usually implement that whole strategy with just a few clicks. Okay, so is this for everyone? Well, it's an amazing tool for certain people. If you're new to investing, it's a great way to start. If you're a busy professional with no time to spare, it's fantastic. Or if your financial goals are pretty simple. But, and this is a big but, it's probably not the right fit if your finances are really complex or if you're someone who just really values that human touch, having a real person to talk things through with. And that really brings us to the big final question. Every single day, that line between what technology can do and what humans can do is getting blurrier. This massive shift from the old school face-to-face service to these powerful new algorithm-driven platforms is without a doubt the biggest story in wealth management today. And it leaves all of us with a really fascinating question to think about. Will your next financial advisor even be human?